Good morning, it's Robbie from Southern California. A beautiful morning, and we have blue sky and sun today. I'm going to do an update on my bird garden, which I'm actually calling my bird room. It's not a garden. This is going to be so fun to build, and I've been slowly going through and adding in all kinds of pots and flowers and cuttings that shouldn't be there and all kinds of stuff. So maybe I'll step in there. I just love all the birds. And I'll explain to you why some of my solar fountains look so good and some don't. But this is like such a joy to come in the morning and just sit here and watch all the birds come in. As soon as I put seed out, I mean, they're here regardless. I'm gonna get more hummingbird feeders in here. Right now the hummingbirds have another place out my kitchen window they really like. I put them here and a couple come here, but the other ones stay around the kitchen window. But I want to talk about maybe recycling. We could talk a little bit about that. You know, I could do that while I sit here, and then we can go and take a peek inside what's going on. Let's look at this. This is that gazebo that Gary picked up out of the trash. And you probably saw it a while back. He brought it home. We talked about it. He didn't know where he was going to set it up. We were thinking of doing a garden with it. And then I looked at it and said, no, I want it in my bird garden. I am going to actually build a bird room. So in the bird garden, which is my vegetable garden, you see it on the garden tours. All the plants are edible back there. It's all different types of collard and kale and, well, all kinds of stuff. I grow tomatoes and even squash, which I'm starting now in here. But I wanted to designate a room just for the birds. And I want to make it as safe as possible. You know, we all know nature, and nature is not 100% safe. But I wanted to do it safe. Now, why do I say safe? So let me explain to you what I said. See how the hillsides are just all barren? There's no bird food anymore for them. Everybody's got to do weed abatement. He said he had no use for it. And I said, well, you know what? I do. But I don't want it set up the way it was. Even though we had most of the parts, I wanted to set it up the way I needed it. So I went ahead and had him put the let me step up. I put the 4 corners there. You can see there's 2 there and there's 2 there. So of course this isn't a 10 by 10 or 10 by 12 anymore. It's quite long, but we didn't use the bars that grow across the top. What I did was I had him set it up, and he did stake them in. He put some stakes in the ground, I believe, just 1 or 2, I guess 1 for each one. And then I went and had him cut me down, and I went around looking for branches. I actually found some. These are just long branches off of Brazilian pepper trees. And he was trimming them to chop up, and I took them long. Isn't this gorgeous? I took them long, and I started to cross beam. So they're really strapped on, not that good, but they're strapped on with zip ties and yarn and anything I could tie it with. And I'm going to go back. I wanted to do it like temporarily to kind of look at it and see what I like. So I want to go back now, and soon I'll start wiring it in, like hard wiring it in. The reason I have the cross beams on it is it's to stop hawks from doing a swoop. When hawks feed, the ones that eat birds, they swoop down and they grab their prey and keep going. They don't just walk over, pick them up, and, you know, that's it. They swoop. They need a way to come down and get their prey before the prey knows that they're there. Well, by doing it this way, on the very back, you probably can see the fence. There's a wire, just this wire. Oh, isn't that cute? See that? That's my solar fountain. You know what? I know I have not done that video. Okay, we'll do that. That's one of my favorite ones that I never got to it, how that one's made. That is so cute. Anyways, now I digress. I wanted to make it where they can't swoop. So you've got the fence in the back. That just so happens was put there. There wasn't even a fence for quite a few years until my mother was convinced that one of us were going to fall off the side and do a 4-foot drop. And so Gary put the fence up one day before a party. See, it goes all the way along there. Bear with me, I'm still working in this garden. I'm working everywhere. So we got the wire fence, so no hawk can swoop in there and go through the fence. And they can see very, very well. The scrub jay on the very top of the avocado tree there. Then now we've got the side where the gazebo's set up. The 4 corners, which are quite elaborate. It's a beautiful, beautiful setup. And now I've got the wood on the top as well as some in the back and some in the front. So it would have to zigzag, zigzag. That is not saying they can't fly like that. They can, but let me tell you something. Since I have done this and covered the top with the wood, I haven't had any hawks come in here at all. Not that I've seen, but I did see them before. So this stopped that. They can wait on the outside, they can wait somewhere else, but by then their prey is leaving, or if they hit anything, their prey leaves. Same reason I've got a bird cage with some food in it, because a hawk can't get in while they're in a bird cage, even though the birds can go in and out of the wire. So think about that if you're having either a cat problem or a hawk problem. You can set up a bird cage, you can cut some of the wires out so the birds can go in and out. Remember, hawks are bigger, they're not going to be able to fly in there, and that is a safe way of feeding birds if you're having an issue. Okay, so we did that. And that's basically it. Now it's a matter of setting it up the way I want and enjoying it. So this is going to be set up with not just edibles, but anything. And I've got geraniums in there. I've got different pansies in there. I've got flowers I don't even know. So let's do a quick walkabout in there. I'll show you what's going on. This is just gorgeous. I love this. And it also gives a little bit of shade. So as summer gets hotter, they'll have a place to be in somewhat shade, though they can go into all these plants and that will create shade. So let's walk out there and take a look. So this is kind of the entrance. I started with this old pot. I think I found that in the trash. And this is an emu bush, and this particular plant grows up. It doesn't vine, it gets quite tall, and it has pink flowers that the hummingbirds love, and they have been feeding on this. And then I just put a polka dot plant down there. We'll see how it goes. This is just on the outside. See how beautiful and elaborate it is? That's why I wanted to talk about recycling. Do you know these gazebos? Because I bought one. I've got one now in my rainbow garden. Are actually designed to only last for one season. Yeah, you can go buy the tops, but sometimes they are hard to find. And they actually make these disposable. So I don't want to be disposable. If I had to take a gazebo apart that I couldn't use anymore, at that point I would probably use it as a trellis and grow beautiful vegetable vining plants on it. So this is why you find them in the trash a lot. People dump them, they get rid of them. Well, every year, kind of like barbecues, a lot of people get a new barbecue every year. They get rid of them, and think about that. So if you have a way of grabbing them or looking in your free section in the paper, you may have a neighborhood type paper where you can look and see what people are giving away. That's what they do. The tops go, and then they just buy a new one. Why? Because I looked up some of the tops. Just the canopy tops, they can sometimes cost you $100, and yet the whole gazebo that I've got sitting right out in the rainbow garden cost me $109, the whole thing. So this is why. And then you have to hope that it's going to fit. So this is the room, and this is the setup. So I've got flowers now I'm planting in pots. This is another emu plant. And this one is a lower bush, and it's got more of a yellow-orange flower. So the hummingbirds feed on that. That's a lavender back there, and then I've got walking onions. Now, this isn't set up the way I want. See, another pot. I think I picked that up at a thrift store for $1. Then I've got water for lizards and birds and stuff down there. I see the towies take a bath in that sometimes, but the lizards drink out of it. I've got a mix in here, of course. That's a tree collard. And then here, like I said, I've got flowers hanging. This I got the 99 cents for, but I think they were $2. I painted that. I don't know, just to try it once. This was actually a couple years ago. And then I've got that one here. This is a tree collard. Do not plant a tree collard in a little flower pot, because this is a tree collard. Okay? So this I'll have to transplant out soon. I just had a piece that broke off. I stuck it in there, and it actually rooted. This is a green tree collard. And then as you can see, let's go back through here. I've got rocks and mint and things so the birds can come in and hide. I'm still working on where I want what. This is some logs that Gary had when they brought wood chips years ago. So I stacked it. Now that's one of my favorite water fountains. It's a solar fountain. I made that. You can see how I carved out. The video is up. It's not carved. And I even have another way we can do this. But I made that. And this is cement, and it's hollow underneath. This is just something I found, but you can use a plate. I had a plate before, but I don't even know what this is. It's metal, it's got holes, so the water goes back into the bucket. See? And then the solar panel is up on top there. Isn't that cool? I just love it because I've got a hummingbird, I've got flowers, and then just designs, and I made all the designs, and the birds love it. Then of course that's the bucket that I have not put the video on how I did that, and I should get that video together quickly, because this one you can move anywhere. It's cheap. You use a $2 bucket with a special bowl I bought. It's actually a kid's bowl, and then it goes together so quick. So I'll try to get something up on that soon. And that has been fantastic. Just sitting on a pedestal again. See the 2 solar panels up there? And then what's here? Oh, this is a pot we found in the trash. It's broke. I don't know if you can see it. It's big. And we were driving home from somewhere probably 2 years ago, and I yelled to Gary to stop. And he got out and he said, the whole back is broke. I said, I don't care. I'll line it with something and I'll fill it. So now I've got my rose bushes growing in here. I've got some, this is like a tree colored, but it's a hybrid. And there's my rose bush. This is the one I cut myself on the other day. I had a Band-Aid. I was working out here, and this is the one he told me not to plant. I planted it. Yes, it bit me, but that's all right. I'll heal. So I've got things growing in there, and they're actually layered. A lot of them are in pots in there. And then let's see. Oh, here I haven't even planted anything yet. See, I've got a pot ready, and then more wood. Here's another flower down here that I bought. Let's see if we can keep going. There's that other rose bush. The reason is this thing is like an old-fashioned rose bush, and it grows really fast, and it's very spiny, and that's why he's been taking it out little by little. It's under the deck, and I've been chopping pieces out, rooting them, and planting them different places. Not in his garden. He doesn't want it. Then this is a purple tree collard, which has gone over the fence there. See, another place for birds to land. And then more cuttings. Now, for some reason, let me show you this. This one is a hybrid. I love this one. I have a big one on the other side of the yard. These get really big and sometimes real round and dark green, and something kept eating it to the stump. So all I did was take tulle and wrap it around the stump, and whatever was nibbling on it, whatever rat was climbing it, they stopped just by wrapping tulle, and I'll leave the tulle. It's not hurting anything. This came up from seed, and this is probably a hybrid of broccoli or something. And this is just some papayas. If they make it, fine, and if they don't, that's fine. It came up in the compost. I moved it here in the bucket. Oh, I think I remember which one. It was up against the wall, the driveway. And I didn't want to chop it out, so I moved it here. So we'll see what happens. Let's see. This is an old black tote that's probably been there for about 5 years. Here's the other side of where the birds feed. It's just an old feeder. Now this tree collard is going up, 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 and eventually I'll take it out, but for now I'm going to leave it. This rose bush is not doing too well. It probably needs more soil. It's in a broken pot. I'll fill that up with wood chips or more native soil or something and see what happens, and I'll trim it back. It needs a good trimming. This I'm just going to leave. Now this was a metal box. I don't know what it was, like an old air conditioning unit, but it was hollow. So I brought it out here years ago. This is when I had no idea what I was doing. And I loaded that up with just native soil. Believe it or not, it still drains somewhat. So I left it. Instead of trying to drag it out and do anything with it, I'm just going to leave it because we're not eating anything out of it. And I planted some geraniums in a pot, and I'll probably put another pot there. Layering is wonderful when you don't want to do anything. You know, just put another pot this way, you water it, and then the worms, I'll throw some leaves there with a pot, and then the worms will take care of it. Nature. This needs a good cleaning. That's that globe. I did do the video on that. It was a toy globe, and I split it in half because it opened, and you can store things in it. I made that, and I've left it. It's just got algae on it. I wash it here and there. Isn't that beautiful goldfinch? Right in front of me, like 2 feet in front of me. And so I leave that. The bees like that one. For some reason, they can grab onto the rough plastic. That is nothing. That is nothing. That fountain, no joke, is nothing. It's a plastic bowl with a flower pot turned upside down with the solar fountain underneath and a piece of tubing I had left. The reason I haven't done anything is it's supposed to remind me to fix that pot up, redo it, and put a new one there. If I fix it up, I won't get to that. So that's why it's like that. It's stupid, but that's my way. And then, of course, this needs just a little bit of a cleaning. That's another one of the cups, and oh, the birds love it. They stand on top, and hummingbirds come and take a drink. The house finches, all of them take a drink out of that. That just needs a washing. It's just the leaves falling in there. It turns a little dirty. I wash them about once a week, sometimes a little sooner. Then that's the only electric one in here, and then the ball way down there is electric, and that's it. This one I bought, well, actually, the ball I bought on my birthday. Wow, I'd have to look it up, maybe 5 years ago now, 4 or 5 years ago, time flies. I walked into a thrift store, he was taking it out of his truck, and I said, oh, I want it. And he goes, well, I don't even know what I'm going to charge for it. I don't even know if it works. I said, I don't care. So I think he sold to me for $15 or $16. I love the ball. And then this one, same thrift store I went in, and I think this was $20 or $25. So I got that one. I called Gary to come down with the truck, which he did, and he picked it up. That one's metal. And then all through here, I've got a combination of spearmint, and I think there's a little bit of orange mint growing through here. I don't mind the mint. It gives good coverage for birds to hide in, and that's perfectly fine with me. Let me see if I can back out of here without tripping, and then see if there's anything else I could show you. So I'm planning on redoing this. I've been slowly working on it. I know if you go to the garden tours, you'll see that I have been working on it. It doesn't look the same, but it is slowly coming along. This is a stump that I was going to put a bird fountain on. I put my sundial there instead, so this way if I'm sitting, I can still see through when I trim all that. I'm going to go into this. This is an old grooming crate. Years ago, there was a pet store that had a big grooming room, and they decided to redo the whole thing, and I've told the story probably 100 times. I had somebody that was working there that I knew. They called me, and they had them all piled by the dumpster. So Gary took them all home. And of course, we don't need dog crates, but we use them different places for growing. This is when we were first starting. Didn't even know what I was doing. I threw native soil in there, and it didn't grow that good. I didn't know about anything. Then I went and bought soil. So now what I'm going to do is, it drains well. I'm going to clean this up soon. I'm going to layer. Layering is the easiest thing. You don't have to, like I said, you don't have to do anything. Just put your pots around there, leave the soil in there, and let it do its thing. So I'm going to do that soon. See the other side? My daughter got me this. I'm not in the grow bags. But, you know, she was doing grow bags and swore she wouldn't do totes. And now she must have more totes than me. She's got a field of totes. She's even put a couple videos up on her tote. She gets all the different colors, and the stuff is growing everywhere. It's amazing. But I'm going to put something in there. I was using it for the past couple of years as a holder for stuff, but I can't see what stuff is in there. I brought it out here and I'm looking at it. Maybe I'll put some succulents in it, because it's going to dry out here too bad. Then, of course, there's my rock fountain. Everything comes to that. I've got a bird video, and I got a bunch of birds going to that. Birds I've never seen before come to that. I just love it. So I'm still going to build. I want to have more fountains in here, hang a few hummingbird feeders in here. And that one is a candlestick. I've got the video on that. Oh, I have the video on that. That candlestick, it just needs a little bit of a cleaning. It's been out here with the same pump now for, go check the video, 3 years? I'm going to say 3 years, and it's going strong. Just needs a good cleaning. Don't worry about algae. As long as it's running, the algae is not a problem. Think of rivers and lakes and ponds you go to. That's fine. As long as it's not rancid, it is perfectly fine. So that's basically it, and I just wanted you to see it because I know it's going to change, but see how the wood is? Nothing can dive bomb. They would have to go through all these branches, and it makes it more difficult. They want to get their prey when it's out in the open, not sitting in a tree. So the birds have absolutely loved it. Look at the conglomerate mess here. But that's holding all my branches all over. So that's the update. I'll show you real quick over here. This is the outside. This is why I want to see this. This is loved. You can see a lot. I've got a whole video on just hummingbirds taking a bath out of there. That is loved by hummingbirds, warblers, goldfinches, everything loves it. But I plan on trimming this back, getting more lift. So when I sit, sometimes I sit by the door, see? Then I can sit by the door and watch and get really good clips of all these birds. We now have about 60 species of small birds that come in here. I'm not talking about hawks, crows, ravens, 60 species. I put a video up a few years ago now on the 50 species, and I listed each and every one, named it. Now we've got more than that. At least 10 more have come in. It's just beautiful. I just love it. So that's it. So that's my update on my bird room. Hopefully you'll see it grow and get more flowers in here. Maybe I'll have some sort of vining flower on the back. I'm not sure. I'm just slowly working without tearing the whole thing apart, because I still have all my vegetable gardens I'm working on, but I can build on what I've got. And so far so good. And let me tell you, the birds are happy. So I think that's it for right now. I just kind of wanted to do an update on how easy it is to get solar fountains in there. You don't need electricity. All you need is a place to hang a solar panel, and then the birds will come in, they'll take a bath, they'll feed. Yes, I'm gonna leave in a minute. He wants his peanuts. Do you see him? Isn't that cute? I love scrub jays. When I was a kid, I had one that used to come and eat out of my hand in LA when I lived there, when I was a little kid. So with that, have a wonderful, wonderful day. And think about it when you're setting up for birds. If you've got hawks or cats around, then put the feeder inside a cage and make the bars wide enough so the birds can go in and out, eat, and enjoy themselves. Look, a volunteer little tiny zinnia came up in here with the onions. See, there's more. I love it. Have a great day, and don't forget to eat what you grow. Isn't that amazing? Bye-bye.